Hello friends, this is part 23 of Angular 14 series, and in this session we'll discuss about that sorting with server side implementation. Okay, before moving to this code writing, we'll introduce you with the new template, and this is easier rather than the previous one. So this dashboard is created by the totally Angular material, no bootstrap, no jQuery, nothing else. Simple structure is there. Now if I go to that app component, and here everything is written through that material only. Okay, so if you are interested to look into this code, you can go through it. I will share that new GitHub link so that you can have full code on this repository. Okay, now so here what I did, I created one table menu, table module, and inside this table module two implementation is there, client and server. So if I go to the client, now if I click on this mobile, so open the network here, see there is no network call is happening. Okay, so that is means client side rendering. Now if I go to the server side, so now server side implementation will do. See, nothing is happening, but we'll implement. So now flip to Visual Studio Code. So here is the data grid. So in this project structure, simple and straightforward. So services, pipes, modules, and models and modules. And here is the app component is the layout one, and material module I have created, and the shared module I have created here. And now if I go to the modules, dashboard, data grid, login, session expert, those are the things is there. Okay, now if I talk about this data grid, so here is the HTML piece of code where the drop down is showing here. This one, based on this value of the selection, actually what I'm doing, I'm just rendering or enabling, you can say, the different component. One is the grid client component and grid server side component. Okay, two component I have created here. And now so here client side code already is there, and apart from this, one more service I have created to fetch the results. Here is the data grid services. So in this service, you can see here customer grid data, which is kind of iGrid. Okay, so if you come to this interface, data grid model, so here total rows, total page, or rows, column and columns array. Okay, rows array means data array. In this example, we are getting this column array from server side. Okay, and so these are the customer interface, and customer filter as well. So I have created the customer filter, but next session we'll discuss about this. But okay, so now this load customers, if I hover on this, so it is actually returning and observable of iGrid. Okay, there is nothing extra things, but yes, whatever input is coming through this input filter interface, we are serialize that part. Input model is coming, we are serializing. Okay, so utility context is there. So with this help of this code, we are able to create that query string. Okay, so these are the overview. Now if I go to the data grid server part, here what I did so far, so data source already I discussed that customer array, and displayed columns is nothing but string array. Okay, so if I go to the preview of this call, here you can see the columns array is coming from database. Okay, now total records means here total rows. Okay, so total how many records are there in the database. Now input filter is nothing but if I click on the sorting or pagination to pagination, what kind of input parameter is will be going on to that call. So for that one, input filter. And loading records means if I click on any of this, so loading icon will appear on this grid. And this subscription is one kind of private variable subscription array. So here in this scenario, we are actually subscribing this to load the customer list. Okay, so we are subscribing. So before moving to this component, we need to destroy that. Okay, for performance purpose. Okay, so any other thing is, yes, msort already we discussed, and paginator. So this is from Angular material part, and constructor is nothing with the default value. Initialization is here, and so inside ng on init, what I did, filter grid private one method is there. Here we are actually, what we are doing, we are loading the customers with the input, and if there is an error is happening, so we are resetting the inputs, and here we are just initializing the value. Okay, now this is actually kind of concrete method. There won't be any changes on this method, but based on our requirement, other method will be not changed. Okay, now in this scenario, filter grid data for first initial. So whatever input object is there, that input object to be remain same with the default one. That is what I am actually using the spread operator. Okay, so with the default input value, actually the data will be loaded on the screen. Okay, so here is the by default sorting column would be row ID, and then enable pagination, yes. So we are sending 1. So if you pass pagination 1, then which means this kind of format will come, total page, rows, total rows, these are the format would come. Okay, now page. So in which page you are fetching the record, from which page. So I am in the first page, and sorting per page we are showing the 5 records, and sorting descending or ascending. Now so already sort at variable, sort variable is there. So after ng, after view unit lifecycle, we need to write that part. Okay, okay, then so it is sort dot. Now here is the method which is actually returning an event meter kind of things. Now dot subscribe, then maybe I can write sort. I would write here one public method that is called on column sort. Okay, on column sort, here I will pass maybe, yes, sort, which is type of sort, and inside this I will call this filter grid data. Here what I'll do, whatever input filter is there, along with that I don't want to change that value. First initially I use that input filter along with sorting properties. Okay, for sorting properties, now for column I will change with my current column, active column, and direction, what is called sort dot direction. Okay, now I will pass this input, I mean modified input, to the concrete method here. Okay, so if I click on the sort any of the column, then what will do, this method will fire, and if this method fires, then on column sort method will fire with this sort state. Okay, this sort state is nothing but Angular material column state. Now if I save this change, now go to the browser, log out. So in this Angular material new style implemented for the login purpose. So if you are not authorized, then all other things will be blank, and this login pop-up will come. Okay, So now here is go to table and server implementation. Now if I click on this column, see it is happening, right? So small with a little bit change we can achieve the server side sorting on. Now just check the payload here. What is called, yes, column mobile number we are sorting. Now if I click on the total order, now if I check another total order and per page this, now I can change also 10, but that part will coming into the next session. Okay, so we'll discuss about that pagination part with server side rendering. So for that, stay tuned and be safe. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.